Good evening, everybody. Appreciate you allowing me to do the class like this. I hope it's beneficial to you. If you've never done an online class before, this may actually give you an opportunity to have a sense of what it's like, and it may actually allow you to judge a little bit better the opportunity in the future to take an online class. First and foremost, I don't have a professional microphone. I don't have a script. It's just me talking, and I may stammer or stumble just like I do in class sometimes. So please overlook that. Also, the total time of the presentation will more than likely be less than what we would typically do in class. But if you think about it, I don't have to stop and wait for people to answer. I don't have to give you time to get with a partner, but we will cover the same amount of material. Let me strongly encourage you, let me urge you to pause me. I will give a little bit of a pause, but perhaps not as much as you need. The really cool thing about doing a class like this is you have a pause button, you also have a rewind button, and this may give you, especially if you're a little bit reluctant to speak up in class, this may actually give you the opportunity that you're reluctant to take in class to speak up and to then get some immediate feedback from me. And then, of course, you're trying to match your answer to my answer. And then secondarily, I've tried to give you as many visuals as possible so that you not only hear what I'm saying, but that you can see the written Spanish too. So here we go, and we'll start out with our homework. So go ahead and pull, if you will, the homework from Viajemos. Okay, from Viajemos, this chapter is about Colombia, and I don't have the same ones underlined for you, but I am going to read this in English, and I'll let you check your own answers there, but I want to make sure that you got a good understanding of it, and I think there's a lot of cognates in there, so hopefully you did. Colombia, the land of cumbia and rhythms influenced by Africans and indigenous peoples, and cumbia is a type of dance. Its population is a mixture of three races: indigenous, white, and black. Bogota, situated in the center of the country, is the capital and the main cultural center of the country. The exportation of emeralds and flowers forms an important part of the economy of the country. Its modern urbanistic concept offers nice spaces for people on foot. The plazas and parks in the city are ideal places for recreation of those who visit them. The hill, the cerro is a hill, the hill called Montserrat attracts people from Bogota, the capital, and tourists to know and to see their religious monuments and to eat in the restaurants and to contemplate the sights. In Montserrat, we find the antique monastery constructed in 1657 and the church known as the Statue of the Fallen Christ. To climb up to Montserrat, you need a telesférico, it's like a cable car. Upon arriving at the top, you will see, or we see, a panoramic, a very impressing panorama of the city. The Candelario is a residential area. It is in the historic center of Bogota, surrounded by representative buildings of the different styles and eras. The neighborhood presents details of colonial architecture in the antique houses, beautiful balconies, and historic constructions like the Church of the Candelario, constructed in 1703. And I'm sure you can hear my dog barking in the background. Ignore the dog, listen to me. And this zone is connected the biggest part of the historic attractions of Bogota, like the Bolivar Plaza. And of course, Bolivar was a historical figure in South America. In this plaza, the statue of Simon Bolivar, or Simon Bolivar as we say in English, commemorates the liberator, one of the most admired heroes of all of Latin America for his participation in the independence wars of the continent. There is also the national capital where the Congress meets, the Justice Palace, the Cathedral of Bogota, the avenida called El Dorado. El Dorado means the golden one that goes to the airport. The Dorado was built in 1952, and it is one of the most modern avenues in Bogota. The Colombian artesania, which is like handiwork, things made by hand, is very varied, from textiles to jewelry making, necklaces, earrings, jewels of emeralds, and other stones. The sector of 19th Avenue is an attractive commercial place. The nightlife with discotheques, restaurants, music clubs, and theaters offers many options to have fun. Bogota has more than 7 million inhabitants. When we see so many people in the streets, we feel that Colombia, land of emeralds, has in Bogota, people from Bogota, the best of their jewels. In other words, they're saying that Bogoteños, or people from Bogota, are the most precious jewels of Colombia. Okay? Again, idea is that you don't understand every single word, but that you had a general idea of what they're talking about, because there's a lot of words that look like the English words. Okay, tarea 2-1, 2-1, en la página 76. And if you'll look at all these people, hopefully you recognize enough to get the answer, but they're associated. Número 1, jugar al béisbol, playing baseball. Número 2, jugar al baloncesto. 3, jugar al fútbol. 4, tocar la guitarra, or it could be ir a un concierto. 5, jugar al golf. 6, andar en bicicleta, or el ciclismo. 7, jugar al tenis. 8, mirar la tele o mirar una película. It is possible that you got different answers, but the main thing obviously is become familiar with the vocabulary. 2-2. Número 1, no es lógico. Muchas personas estudian en la biblioteca. Okay, you could have also said something about you play basketball in the gym if you chose to do it that way. Número 2, es lógico. 3, no es lógico. Pescamos en un lago o en un río. 4, no es lógico. Necesito una pelota cuando practico el voleibol. I need a ball when I practice volleyball. 5, es lógico. 6, es lógico. 7, no es lógico. Mi amiga camina mucho cuando practica el golf. My friend walks a lot when she practices golf. 8, es lógico. Okay, let's look back, please, on page 73 to make sure that you understand what this chapter is about and what we are expected to learn. So if you look at the chapter objectives, número 1, vamos a hablar de las actividades de tiempo libre. Número 2, vamos a expresar nuestros gustos y disgustos. 3, vamos a indicar planes y intenciones. 4, vamos a compartir información con actividades o sobre actividades comunes. Estructuras, structures. Vamos a aprender del verbo gustar con un infinitivo y con sustantivos. Verbos de yo irregular. La diferencia entre saber y conocer y la A personal. Y vamos a expresar el tiempo usando hacer y estar. So you can see the communication goals. You can also see the structures as we deepen our level of Spanish. Okay, go ahead and look on page 75. I want to give you a little bit more practice with the vocabulary in this format. Again, the idea is that you get your mind around the vocabulary, and I want to do it in a way with a construction that you're going to be seeing before the end of this video, so you go ahead and get used to it. Me gusta bailar means I like to dance. And in Spanish, you almost have to think about this one backward, because you would think, well, gusta should be gusto. Well, in Spanish, this particular expression is dancing is pleasing to me. So you see the me right there. So you see gusta, it doesn't end in an O that you would logically think it would. So me gusta bailar, I like to dance. Me gusta el béisbol, I like baseball. But notice what happens when whatever you like is a noun and it's plural. It becomes me gustan. Okay? So if you can open your book to 75, what I would like for you to say, and I'll give you a short pause. You can pause me with your finger if you need to, but I want you to try to say, I like soccer. Me gusta el fútbol. Now, say, I like golf. Me gusta el golf. Now say, I like to take photos. Me gusta sacar fotos. Now say, I like to play volleyball. Me gusta jugar al voleibol. Now say, I like to play the guitar. Me gusta tocar la guitarra. I like parties. Be careful with this one. Plural noun. Me gustan las fiestas. Did you hear the N on that one? Me gustan las fiestas. And finally, say for me, I like concerts. Me gustan los conciertos. Let's look at 3-4 for some continued practice on this one on page 77, la página 77. And what this is in essence is saying is en la casa podemos. At home, podemos means we can. So in home we can. Número dos, en el parque, in the park we can. Número tres, en el centro comercial. In the mall we can. And I'm going to tell you what I want you to say. Again, I'll give you a short pause and then allow you to say it, and then you will be reinforced when I give you the answer. So here we go. Número uno, what I want you to say, at home, we can watch TV. En la casa podemos mirar la tele. Now I want you to say, in the park, we can ride a bike. En el parque podemos andar en bicicleta. Now I want you to say, in the mall, we can go to the movies. En el centro comercial podemos ir al cine. In the gymnasium, we can lift weights. En el gimnasio podemos levantar pesas. In the beach, we can water ski. En la playa podemos esquiar en agua. Okay, hopefully you got that one. If not, you can always rewind me and try it again. It's really important to process this information, not just wait for the answer. 3-5, I'm going to tell you what I want you to say here. I'll ask you the question, which should give you an indication of how to respond, and then I want you to respond. Okay, here we go. What is the group of students doing? So I'm going to ask you the question. ¿Qué hace un grupo de estudiantes? So I want you to say a group of students is playing volleyball. The response is un grupo de estudiantes juega al voleibol. 2. What are Luisa and Soledad doing? ¿Qué hacen Luisa y Soledad? I want you to say Luisa and Soledad are riding a bike. Luisa y Soledad andan en bicicleta. ¿Qué hace Margarita? I want you to say Margarita is running. Margarita corre. What are Andrés and Carlos doing? I want you to say Andrés and Carlos are swimming. ¿Qué hacen Andrés y Carlos? Andrés y Carlos nadan. What are Miguel and Marta doing? ¿Qué hacen Miguel y Marta? I want you to say Miguel and Marta are skating. And you could say inline skating. Miguel y Marta patinan en línea. En línea means inline. Patinan with an A-N means they are skating. What is Mr. Martinez doing? I want you to respond. Mr. Martinez is walking in the park. El señor Martínez camina en el parque. Okay, let's try something similar. Número 3-6. ¿Cuándo y con quién? And so instead of discussing with a partner, I'm telling you what I want you to say, and I'm going to give you an opportunity to say it. And I'm going to be going right down the line, starting with número 1, tomar un café, mirar una película, practicar deportes, tocar la guitarra, etc. So the first one I want you to say using number 1 is I drink coffee in the cafeteria with my friend. Take it a word at a time. Tomo café en la cafetería con mi amigo. And I could have put in there tomo un café. I have a coffee. Okay, look at number 2. I watch a movie at home with my family. Miro una película en casa con mi familia. Okay, got to take it one part at a time. Again, pause me if necessary. I want you to say, I practice sports in the gym with my professor. Practico deportes en el gimnasio con mi profesor. I play the guitar in the student center. This is number 4, obviously. Toco la guitarra en el centro estudiantil. Number 5, I surface. That's not the right word. It should be I surf. Sorry about that. I just recognized I put surface instead of surf. I surf the internet at home alone. Navego la red en casa solo. So if you're a guy, you would say solo. If you're a gal, you would say sola. Looking at number 6. I visit the museum or a museum on Sundays with my uncle. Visito el museo los domingos con mi tío. And number 6 actually says a museum, and I said the museum. So if I wanted to make it say a museum, I would say visito un museo los domingos con mi tío. Number 7, I watch TV in a friend's house. Be careful in this one. Remember how we do the possession in Spanish. No apostrophe S. Miro la tele en la casa de un amigo. Number 8, I fish at the lake, or in the lake, in Spanish is what it's going to be, at night. Pesco en el lago en la noche. 9, I swim in the pool in the summer. Nado en la piscina en el verano. And finally, I take photos when I am on vacation. This was a little bit tricky, so you have to go back to when you're thinking about when. You should know that word. I am, the verb estar. Saco fotos cuando estoy de vacaciones. Excuse me. In Spanish, we don't say en vacaciones. We say de vacaciones. And that's something you would not have known. Okay? Again, if you need to rewind this whole page, you can do that. Look on page 78. This is a word that's a little bit different, and it's conjugated differently than what you would think. For right now, for our purposes right now, for this class, there's only 2 forms of this, and that is gusta, G-U-S-T-A, and gustan, G-U-S-T-A-N. There are actually more forms, but the 2 that we're going to learn are those 2. So it's going to be important to try to connect this to something. So I have my trusty little chart there that you always know that I use. Yo means I, which is a subject pronoun. Me means me, which is an object pronoun. See the difference? I speak English. He threw the ball to me. I'm the object of that. Tú is the familiar form of you. Te is the familiar form of the object pronoun you. Now in English it doesn't change. You eat spaghetti. The plate fell on you. Okay, in English it doesn't change. In Spanish it does. It goes from tú to te. Subject form of usted, él, ella, you, he, she. In Spanish, guess what? It's only one, le, which means you, him, or her. You'll see in the book that it tells you sometimes it's going to be necessary to at least establish who le is at a minimum of 1 time. Okay, and we'll talk about how to do that. Nosotros, we, nos, us. Okay, see the difference? You see how they relate. Vosotros, y'all, os, y'all. Again, one is a subject pronoun, one is an object pronoun. Ustedes, ellos, ellas, you all, they, masculine, they, feminine. Les is you all are them. I saw them. They saw me. Get the difference. Subject pronoun, object pronoun. All right, let's take it a step further. And you've got this in your book on page 78. The chart just looks a little bit different. Dos formas, 2 forms, and I've already said this. When you have a singular noun, whatever that you're liking is a singular noun. It is me gusta. Me gusta el baloncesto. Now I'm going to tell you something that is going to be crucially important to help you remember how to do this. Because the tendency would tend to be gusto, thinking, okay, gusto, gustas, gustam, all that. No. The way that you have to think about it is Baloncesto, basketball, is pleasing to me. And then that way, el baloncesto becomes the subject. And then when it becomes the subject, it really is gusta. And then me is to me. So basketball is pleasing to me. Me gusta el baloncesto. When you have a plural noun, logically, if the subject of a noun is plural, it's going to end in an N. So watch what happens. Me gustan los perros. We translate it as I like dogs. But really the way you have to think about it so that you remember to conjugate the verb correctly is dogs are pleasing to me. Me. Me gustan los perros. So when you're talking about nouns, whatever you're liking is a noun. It is either gusta or gustan. A-N. There's one more form that we're going to learn in this course, and it's what happens when you like to do something. I like to eat, I like to dance, I like to swim, whatever it is that you like to do. Now, we're not talking about a noun, we're talking about an action. So, me gusta plus a verb in the infinitive form. Always, 100% of the time, and you will rarely hear me say that about Spanish, that anything happens 100% of the time, but this one does. Me gusta esquiar en agua. Notice that esquiar stays in the infinitive form. AR. Me gusta comer en O'Charlie's. I like to eat in O'Charlie's. Me gusta correr los sábados en la mañana. I like to run on Saturday mornings. Me gusta escribir muchas cartas. I like to write a lot of letters. Me gusta escuchar música. I like to listen to music. Notice that never ever does it become me gustan. It is me gusta. That one stays the same. So the only time that it changes to gustan is when it is a noun and when the noun is plural. That's really important. You have two forms, gusta and gustan. For our purposes, we don't have gustamos, we don't have gusto, we don't have gustas. Now those exist, but for our purposes right now, it is simply gusta or gustan. All right, so if you will, please look with me in the book, and we'll do just a couple of more examples. And so I'm reading from the left-hand column. ¿Qué te gusta hacer? What do you like to do? So notice what happens. I'm going from me gusta to what do you like to do? ¿Qué te gusta hacer? The verb is in the infinitive. Me gusta correr. I like running. A mi papá le gusta correr también. Running is pleasing to my dad also. Notice how that one forms. If it is established, and I know I'm talking about my dad, I don't have to even say that. I could say, le gusta correr también. He likes running also. But if it's the first time I've talked about him, I have to say because remember, le can be you, her, or him. So I have to clarify who that is at least once. Pero a mi madre y a mí nos gusta ir de compras. But my mom and I like to go shopping. Nos is us. If it's already established who I'm talking about, I could say, nos gusta ir de compras. Going shopping is pleasing to us. Okay? Look at the noun form. A Carlos le gusta el tenis. Carlos likes tennis. If we've been talking about Carlos for an hour, I could say, le gusta el tenis. He likes tennis, and that's enough. A Carlos le gustan los deportes. I could also say, le gustan los deportes. All right? Now I've already explained to you the next couple of paragraphs there, the gusta, gustan. Okay, so I'm not going to go back over that one again. I want to look at some other examples, though. A Catalina le gusta tomar el sol. Does Catalina like to sunbathe? Okay. A ti te gusta nadar? Sometimes it's used as to emphasize, because you can logically say, well, if you're talking about te, T-E, you can only be talking about you. So in this case, it's kind of like saying, you like to sunbathe? That's sort of an emphasizing it. See, a mí me gusta mucho nadar. Yeah, I like to It was swim instead of sunbathe. Sorry about that. Sí, a mí me gusta mucho nadar. Yeah, I really like swimming. Again, perfectly normal to say me gusta mucho nadar. There is no clarification needed, but emphasis sometimes to emphasize. Yeah, I really like swimming. A tus amigos les gustan tomar café. Do your friends like to drink coffee? Analyze that one for a second. Gusta does not change because it's les. That's a common thing to try to do if you're thinking about it the wrong way. It is drinking coffee is pleasing to them, les. And if you think about it like that, you're less likely to make a mistake. A ustedes les gustan las canciones de Juanes. Do you all like Juanes songs? Are Juanes songs pleasing to you all or y'all? And in this case, it's gustan because it is canciones. Sí, a nosotros nos gustan sus canciones. Yeah, his songs are pleasing to us. So again, the presence of nos or les or te or me really doesn't influence whether it is gusta or gustan at all. It has to do solely with what is being liked. All right, let's move on and try to practice a little bit now. Okay, 3-9. I'm going to tell you what we want to say here. Does your brother like Shakira's music? And I'm going to give you the question and you're going to give me the answer. A su hermano le gusta la música de Shakira. So you're going to respond, yes, he likes Shakira's music. Sí, le gusta la música de Shakira. Notice what I've done. I have already established the fact that it's your brother. So you don't have to say my brother again. You can simply say, sí, le gusta la música de Shakira. He likes Shakira's music. Does your grandfather like to walk in the mountains? And you're going to respond, yes, he likes to walk in the mountains. A su abuelo le gusta caminar en las montañas. Okay, and your response is, sí, le gusta caminar en las montañas, because we already know that le is my grandfather. But if I wanted to say it out, I could say, sí, a mi abuelo le gusta caminar en las montañas. And that sounds a little bit redundant in English, but it really isn't in Spanish. Does your mom like romantic movies? A su mamá le gustan las películas románticas. Did you hear the AN on that one? No, she doesn't like romantic movies. Try to say that for me. No, no le gustan las películas románticas. Notice, le is singular. Gustan agrees with romantic movies. Do you like American football? ¿Te gusta el fútbol americano? And I want you to say, yeah, I like American football. Sí, me gusta el fútbol americano. And guess what? If I did not know you well and could not use the tú form with you, I would have said, a usted le gusta el fútbol americano. See the difference? It wasn't te, it's le gusta. You still answer the same way, sí me gusta. Does your friend like to dance? You're going to respond, no, she doesn't like to dance. ¿Le gusta bailar a su amiga? Or I could say, a su amiga le gusta bailar. No, no le gusta bailar. No, she doesn't like to dance. And again, let me point out to you, fútbol americano is a noun. Bailar is something that they like to do. Okay, romantic movies is a noun. And notice that one is gustar again. Gustan, gusta. The difference there. All right, let's move on. down to 3:11, and again, I'm going to tell you what I want you to say. All right? And I'm going to give you an opportunity to say it. And again, please rewind me if you need to hear this again. It's really important for you to process this. So, going straight across for the most part on 311 on page 79, I like to take pictures in the park with my friends. Take a moment and think about how to say that. Me gusta tomar fotos en el parque con mis amigos. Okay? All of the words are right there in 311 for you to get. Now we're going to change it slightly. So think about the slight changes I'm putting in there. He likes to take pictures in the park with, and I'm sorry, it should be his friends. A él le gusta tomar fotos en el parque con sus amigos. Remember from chapter 2, possessive adjectives. His friends, sus amigos. Now, you notice I have a él in parentheses. If I know I'm talking about him already, I could simply say, le gusta tomar fotos en el parque con sus amigos. If I know who I'm talking about, that's cool. Don't have to say it. If I need to establish that él I'm talking about him, I have to say a él. Get the difference? Sometimes I have to clarify. Now we're going to change it. Instead of he likes to take, we like to take pictures in the park with our friends. Possessive adjective from last chapter. Please say this. Nos gusta tomar fotos en el parque con nuestros amigos. All right, let's try a different one. I like to dance at parties. Please say that one. Me gusta bailar en las fiestas. I like to dance in the parties. Now, don't be confused. Fiestas is plural. But you're not saying you like parties. You're saying you like to do something, which is dance. So that makes it 100% of the time bailar. That's something that's easy to get confused on. Now say, they like to dance at parties. A ellos les gusta bailar en las fiestas. And again, I have a ellos in parentheses because if I know that I'm talking about them, I could simply say les gusta bailar en las fiestas. If I have to clarify who it is, I say a ellos versus a ellas or a ellos, a ustedes. And let's try one more. You, the familiar form, like to dance at parties. Please say that. Te gusta bailar en las fiestas. Te gusta bailar en las fiestas. Okay, hopefully that was helpful, and if not, we'll certainly do a little bit more practice with that in class when we get back on Tuesday. All right, let's look at 82 to finish up here before we go into homework. And just want to give you a little bit, I don't want to forget about pronunciation, don't want you to get lazy in pronunciation. So I'm looking at page 82, una oportunidad para practicar la pronunciación. And I'll just go through these and I want you to repeat them with me, and then we'll go to the homework and we'll finish this up. La iglesia, el banco, el centro comercial, la oficina de correos, el cine, that's not obvious, that's a movie theater, el café, la plaza, el mercado al aire libre, open air market, la tienda, that's a store, el museo, el restaurante, el supermercado, la calle, calle is a street, El parque, the park. La piscina, swimming pool. And I had a friend a long time ago who told me, you know how I remember how to say piscina in Spanish? And I said, no, how? And his response was, well, you know, think about what a lot of people do in a public pool, and that will help you remember. Okay, I don't swim in public pools, so that doesn't affect me, but if that helps you remember, good for you. Okay, I want to go back to one thing, el museo. Earlier when I pronounced it museo, which is Italian. In Spanish, it is museo. The S is a softer sound. So sorry about that, didn't mean to confuse you. All right, now let's go into some homework. Okay, for homework, we want to do 3-7, and that's a little bit further practice with me gusta, and you're simply going to fill in mete, les, nos, or les, whichever one goes there. You can write the whole sentence if you want to, but you don't have to. 3H, you're going to basically the same thing, and you're going to write the appropriate form, me gusta, te gusta, le gusta, whatever goes there. You need to analyze the sentence and figure it out. A little bit of practice with vocabulary. 312, you simply write the letter. 313, what places do you associate with these activities? Again, practice the vocabulary. And then in 314, be prepared to translate. I don't want you to do a written translation. I don't like written translation. But be prepared to tell me what they mean and to read them with the appropriate number or the name on those. Also want you to go into Georgia View, find haber for chapter 3. Make sure that you complete that. And as you know, our conversations do begin on Tuesday when we come back. We'll do all of those on Tuesday. We'll actually get started on the next ones. So I hope this was helpful. And I'm certainly welcome any feedback that you have for this, and we'll make sure that we review really well in class on Tuesday. I don't want you to be not benefit if this just didn't float your boat for some reason. So we'll do some review in class on Tuesday. Make sure you got what you were supposed to have gotten. So anyway, take care, and we'll see you in class on Tuesday.